with a lot of gentleness. I'm going to be talking about that today. A lot of gentleness in this new year, in this now. We're going to be sharing the phone to talk because what you're all saying is part of the teaching. You are one of the teachers. And when people can't hear you, they're missing the treasure, right? Really, they're missing the treasure of you, of the teaching in all these voices, in all these facets. So we're going to practice doing some passing in the discussion.
Feathers on it.
I like that.
Talking
The
stick.
talking stick. It would be, well, there's the idea right there. That would be amazing. I'm going to have Libby do that. We have a talking stick that's decorated as this should be. Yeah, great idea. Thank you, Robin, because I know you can't always hear us because when we're talking as a group, I know it can be different. And so today, the topics, I was up at 3:00 this morning with like, this is so important to say. And then, wow, this is so important to say. And then, wow, this is so important to say. And what I ended up with is nothing is important to say. Everything is important to be. I got back home. It took me till 6:08, but it is an important ride, isn't it? It's an important journey to go. But and then it's got to be like this. And then if it can't, if only I could, and what's the right, and we're all doing it all of the time. And I think particularly now that we're coming to the close of a calendar year, and I wish I had Mike Shook on because he would tell me how not important this is. And he would not be wrong. He would not be wrong. From the point of view of the immediacy of now, he would be completely correct because it is always just this. And there is another relative reality that is also valuable, which is this is a real opportunity for us after the gluttony, really, of the holiday and things and expectations and what, right? To think about what's most important. And then, of course, the things are all still sitting there on my floor with all the boxes, still beautiful gift boxes. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do with all this? Wow, like where? And really, like with some commitment, all lovingly procured, right? With just deep love. And I'm like, oh no, now I have to find a place for the giant bee book that I now have because I want to get a new beehive. And it's right. The book is correct. It is important to know about, right? But the thing of it is now, and so we're going to be talking about setting intentions today, but we're not going to be talking about it from maybe the more Western psychology version of, make sure it's achievable. I don't know. Pete could rattle off, the 50 things you got to do to set a right intention. And because health coaching, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's reasonable, it's imperfect, you forgive yourself. There's all kinds of beautiful, and they're all true. But I don't want to talk about intention setting from that place. So we're going to set all that aside today. And we're going to talk about intention setting from what's the thing that would be most beneficial to all beings everywhere without exception for you to consider cultivating. What would be the thing that would be most of benefit, of greatest value? And we're going to just for a moment put you aside. It's not because you're comfortable. It's not because it's doable. We're going to put all the health coaching aside But the thing that would really be of greatest benefit to all beings everywhere, without exception. And then I'm going to offer a rubric for this for a moment, and then we're going to practice it. And here is the rubric. What is the thing you recognize fairly consistently, we'll say, that when you recognize it, you go, "Ugh, I did it again. Ah, I just had like 4 days of like, oh, I did, I, there it is. It's in my list of intentions and aspirations. It's been on the list for 30 years. This is not a joke. And here I am with my family, and at least 4 times a day, I go, I fell in the well of old, conditioned habit. Because we're going to call that recognition, right? We're going to call it recognition. I saw it. I felt it. I knew it's a challenge, not for me, but for others. I knew it was not skillful. I understood it could not accomplish what my ultimate aspirations were. There was no question. And yet, blah, blah, why it occurs, right? And in the last several days, I've thought I better cultivate a lot more gentleness around this. I better be working on that because around this issue, I fall in the well and then I get so harsh. I get so judgmental. I get so hopeless. I go, I'm just never, right? I solidified the I in it rather than just an old pattern. And then like, ugh, and I can feel like somebody pulled the cork on my virya, on the energy of this prat, like, why bother? Just fuck it. Really. Like, forget about it. What am I doing this for? Why am I bothering? And how dare I teach it? None of it's true. Yep, I am. I'm reading the mind. I'm reading the minds. I don't believe it. Not really. I don't really believe it. I believe it in that conditioned moment, though, because it seems too hard. It seems too far away. It seems too impossible with all this practice. 30 years. And there it is again. Do you know what I mean? Right? And so we see this. This is the beginning of an aspiration. However, this is not the bad news. This is the very beginning. I recognize that it's costly. I recognize that there is no benefit. I recognize its habit nature. Do you know what I mean? I recognize that this does not serve. This thought, this speech, this action, this quality of being is not serving me. It's costing me. And then I want you to hear everything. It's costing me everything. There is something ripe in you right now that is ready for this discipline, that is ready for this commitment, right? That is ready. And recognition is the beginning. If you cannot see it, you cannot hope to impact it, influence it, and certainly not change it. So everybody have a thing? Yeah, you do. We all do, right? This is the perfect practice point. This is where Joko would say the rubber meets the road, right here. right in this place where, and then we're going to offer uh, it this quality, this condition, every uh, kindness. We're going to offer it every piece of energy we have. We're going to offer it every grace. We're going to forgive ourselves again and again, but we're going to set conditions over and over for our diminishing this habit because it is not who we are. It is old, it is stale. It's like that beautiful purple shirt that sat in the closet now for probably, well, too many years. We're going to take it out, dust it up, right? And apply it towards the good. So recognition, number one. Anybody have any ideas about number two? 3 small pills. I'm going to call this 3 small pills. We're going to swallow them over and over. So recognition is its beautiful beginning. What might be next? I'll come on the chat and see if anybody has any idea. What would be next? Now that I see it, what would be the next medicine, the next application?
Positive action.
Positive action, not yet. The kindness is first, isn't it? To really hold the horror, to hold the pornography, to hold the murder, to hold the whatever it is we think is just, you're right, shame filled, with some kind of capacity to abide the experience. This is essential. We have to now come to tolerate the distress, the discomfort, the dis-ease, don't we? Because you can feel it. We're like, running it over there. Let's get it off of me quick. And we're going to have to sit with it, in it, for it, right? Feel it fully. No way to get it anywhere else. It's never been true. It's never been true. It doesn't go anywhere. You just don't see it during the third martini, the binge watching thing, the Wordle. It really doesn't matter. They get over there, not over here. It doesn't matter what we're using, right? It doesn't work, does it? And we know it doesn't work. That's why it's right for this. We know it really doesn't work because then the sick feeling. Anybody remember my story about caramel corn?
Yep.
Of course you do. So I was a binge eater of caramel corn whenever I could get to the hot, fresh stuff, because my father used to make caramel corn for us as a kid. And whenever he made it, my sense of home, my sense of comfort, connection, love, and family was there. And so I had quite an attachment to this warmed, the smell alone would be, really quite addicting. And for whatever reason that I didn't know this, Libby had it too. And likely for somewhat of a similar reason, even though we weren't really raised together. And so she and I would go to these street fairs. We'd get a big bag, and I think the bag was like a quarter mile. Something, it's like you can buy them for like $4, little thing. And we would, and then I would solidly, within probably, an hour, get sick, actually sick to my stomach. I felt like I could throw up. The sugar probably got, I don't know what, ugh, right? And I do it over and over and over. I did it for 60 something or close years. And then I started recognizing every time I ate it, I got sick. A to B. Every single time I ate it. And then not only did I feel sick, I didn't feel well for at least 24 hours. And then some kind of like low energy, like would hit me. And then a kind of shame would hit. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're nuts. You've lost your mind. You keep doing this over and over and over. And I, for years, go stop eating it. You're not going to eat it anymore. It went on my intentions list forget it. You're not eating sugar, right? Nothing. This is not slightly of benefit. And then I say, I just better try to stay with myself. Maybe I could try to stay with myself when I feel like I need to eat it. And that became the commitment. It was that simple. I'm just going to stay with myself when I get the urge, when I get the craving, when I feel like I can't stand it. And I would walk back and forth between the kiosk of the kettle corn and really just be going, just buy it. It's just one more time. And who's going to know? And who really cares? And it's just kettle corn. It's not heroin. And right, there's a lot worse things. And haven't you all said this? You have. You have all of it, as I have. And then and I realized in one of these conversations that I had in front of the poor kettle corn people, must be going, she has lost her mind. What is she doing? I'm, thinking and talking to myself, and I love, and even asking how much sugar is in this actually, right? Because maybe I've been wrong all along. Maybe really it's okay. Maybe it's not that big a deal, right? And she'd say, oh, like, we don't even know. I just know, this young girl told me once, that I feel sick after making it, not eating it, making it. I feel sick after making it. After the whole day of making it, I feel sick for like okay. She didn't help me much, right? And so just being with myself, feeling that craving, really seeing the desperation, really desperation, fair word, in it. And I just went, this is not the way, right? Those pauses over those then maybe 8 years, pause and pause and pause, was the beginning of the second characteristic, which is renunciation. But not just no, but really, can I abide my experience and feel it completely without then the second part, the big storyline about it? I didn't do so well on the storyline. I got locked in it, and then I hated it, and then it was fine, and then I hated it again, and then right, the storyline was all over me. Could I just be in the experience? And so then it began. This is the path to renunciation. I'm just not going to do it like that. And really, renunciation is a very big word that we all hate. Let's just say pause. How about that? Could we pause and then just drop back into the body again and stay there for some number of breaths, abiding the experience without the storyline? Not good or bad, right or wrong, gotta, not gotta. It doesn't mean it won't spin. It means that's not where we belong, is it? We really belong wholly embodied. Just stay in the nausea, stay in the grip, right? What a commitment that would be, wouldn't it? Look at what it would grow in us. Look at the muscle of that in the heart mind. Wouldn't it be incredible? I'm just going to stay in this distress. That's actually the act of renunciation, because we're not reaching for the thing that feels better, are we? We're not going for the just eat it anyway. We're not. Why? Because this is the thing that will be of greatest benefit to all beings everywhere without exception. And it's not a joke, because you are inherently transformed right there. I didn't grab it. I didn't eat it. I didn't just distract, entertain, run the other way, or shut down in the numbness of the addictive device. I literally just stayed with myself. With, as Pete was just saying, infinite amounts of immeasurable kindness. I'm using the word gentleness this year because kindness feels a little too big. Just like over there in a way I may not be able to maybe get to for myself. But can I be at least a little gentle? And maybe another word would be tender. Could I open something for myself just a little in that moment? And I believe we are likely capable now of this, just a little. And can I swallow the medicine then? Can I actually just not just abide in the distress, but allow the opening with that gentleness or that tenderness? Second pill, pretty big deal, right? We call that middle face practice, by the way, also. I now not only see the suffering, I'm actually committed to ending its causes, the second noble truth. And then we go about the business of what is the right medicine? And that is that gentleness, that kindness, maybe some word like non-judgment for a moment. That also feels pretty big to me because that mind is going, right? Why, how come, if only, why not? Could you? And so I don't know, but some kind of kindness or gentleness. And then the third pill, any ideas about that? I think Robin said something kind of like positive action, right? I think that's way too big. I'm not even setting myself up. I love the idea. That's the ultimate, we want to be, ultimately, we want to be different, right? We are being different just by those first two vital choice. Yes. Yes. Just then make a choice. It might be to eat the caramel. I don't want to take it off the table, though. I don't want to take eating the caramel corn off the table. Why? Yeah, that's right. And it's a setup, really, because now we, by our nature, set the measurable. We go, if only I could not eat it. What would it need? What would it take for me not to eat it? What would it, right? And now we've built this whole resistant relationship to good, bad, right, wrong. If I eat it, I'm stupid, I'm horrible, I'm an addict, I'm right. We're not going to do that. But can we just make a choice? I'm going to choose to eat this caramel. Could we do it by choice? If we could, it would change everything. Because now what's happened, it is no longer a habit. I'm going to drink it. Right? Get what I'm saying? Okay. I would like everybody before next week when we'll do our burning bowl here on Saturday, we will be writing that which we are releasing. We'll be burning it in the bowl. And then with fly paper, we'll be writing one, everybody, one aspiration. One. And then all the other goals you set, well, you set them. My son laughed the other day. He just got a Y membership and he said, yeah, I'm going to try to get to the Y every da da da. Now he's laughing as he's saying it, right? And he's laughing. And he goes, 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I said, well, that's about as long as the parking lot's full at the Y. It's about 2 weeks. And I said, what if we just, right? We talked about this process a little bit. And he said, I'm afraid I'd never go. I'm scared now that if I didn't demand it, if I didn't say you gotta, if I didn't say 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? You got to get there. I wouldn't go at all. And I'd say, at least you wouldn't go at all by choice. And he went, well, I wouldn't choose it. I went, right. Right. Now you're going to sit with it, right? That. So do we get this idea? Do we understand the three pills? This is 3 acts of good medicine for yourself in your aspiration setting. It is not measurable except by your own abiding and your own experience. There is no good, bad, right, wrong, and then I did or then I didn't. We have to get out of that dualism if we're hopeful at all for ultimately being present, conscious, loving, compassionate.
Sometimes it's such a split second.
That's right. That's right. So your work aspiration might be not to turn. It might be to abide the experience. It's right there in that second phase, which is I'm going to stay at least to drop into the real experience that I'm really looking to get away from. Because that's the point of the addictive device, isn't it? It gets me out of this moment, this pain, this fear, this confusion, this harshness. The suffering. It's suffering. Get me out of here. So does everyone get the idea? Yeah. Robin, did you want to say something? Your hand.
Well, I'm just thinking. So you kind of have to repeat the process over and over and over and over until it's no
Infinitely.
longer a habit.
Infinite.
Or
Infinitely. I think now I'll just use caramel corn as my example. I don't have the craving for that at all. And now the caramel corn is actually no issue. It's not a problem. It's not something I even think about. Uh, I don't have the attachment isn't there for me. I'm not afraid of caramel corn, right? I can go
Mhm.
smell it and it's not like I have to stay out of the bar.
Yeah.
That is an earlier phase. And I'm not saying it's not right practice. It's just not now, right? Because I really can abide my experience. By the way, it is painful. It is painful. It is nauseating. I do feel sick to my stomach,
The word attachment resonates for me.
right? It does for us all. This, not that. Whatever the this, right? And we know when we're doing it, I think. Some part of the wisdom mind in us actually knows something. And we know its effect, even if we're deadened in the process, which of course every addictive device can do. The consequences are not pleasant, right? If nothing else, the shame is there. If nothing else, if there were no physical consequence to the caramel corn, the shame around, and then you ate the whole bag. And what was that? And it was voracious, right, in its quality, really numbing, not right. It doesn't mean you can't eat a piece of caramel corn mindfully, joyfully, and happily. And if you did, I have chocolates here today that we're distributing. Uh, there is no problem in the chocolate. Is there? There's no problem in the chocolate. There's no problem in a bite of chocolate, a joyful experience of chocolate. This is not the problem. It is in what ultimately we are doing instead of attending to our lives, I would say. Okay. So that's the work for this week, if you and see if you can't pay attention and notice where that recognition is, and then where that uh who is it, Homer Simpson does the duh, don't see where you can pick that up. This is fertile ground. This is fertile ground for you, and it's right here for you. It's really revealing itself, I would say. Can you see it? Right? It may be that, again, for me, harshness that I picked up, uh, a frustrated tone. What is it? Withdrawal, a removal of oneself from a difficulty. It can be all of these things. See what we come up with. And then notice what factors are contributing, because that's what we're going to try to burn. We're going to try to release some of our grip and attachment to the factors that are contributing to that in the bowl ceremony. And so now we're going to sit, because little man's got himself all situated now. He's ready. And so we're going to stay in the luminosity. There are also 3 pills, um, 3 characteristics, 3 pieces of good medicine in the luminosity practice. We're going to review those a little bit too. And the first that we're going to cultivate, I'm going to use that word instead of practice, the just present moment cultivation of a certain kind of stillness. And the first work then, since remember, always here, always alive, always available, this Rigpa, luminosity, this is one of its characteristics. You can look around for all that is still. And we can look outside first, getting some sense. And maybe one of the things you see, I remember this from a while ago, is that no, everything is also moving. And it is also true. Where is the stillness? If everything is already always moving. And then whenever you feel ready with that inquiry, you can lower the eye door and see if you can make contact with that stillness within. Make real contact. I'm noticing the stillness of little man right now. Even in his breathing, there is a very dramatic stillness in him. And after that, I can feel that quality of stillness within me. Awareness of stillness. Inner, outer, in both. You will know the stillness because you will be drawn towards it. even within the myriad thoughts, stillness abides. Rest back into the stillness. Feel the felt sense. Be watchful of gripping, grabbing, holding. It is arresting. There is no grip, no concept. It is not disturbed by movement. The still quality of the body, even with the heart beating, the blood flowing, an ever present stillness. The first pill. Then that second pill is silence, all pervading, inner and outer. The silence that is not disturbed by any sound. awareness of silence, and then silence pervading the qualities of silence, both inner and outer, no one viewing silence, listening, there is no listener. There is simply silence abiding. Letting go of the listener, the breather, the thinker, so that we can make real contact. Abiding in silence. Our true nature, our true home. Before the word, there was silence. And that stillness, that silence, abiding in the vast, open, infinite, unbound, limitless space, the third medicine, spaciousness. And in the spaciousness, we feel the ever expanding, ever opening reality of our true being. Big enough, deep enough, wide enough to hold everything, including your habit, including your distress, whatever this momentary appearance only opening. The awakened heart mind pervades it all. We rest in the knowing, the familiarity. We remember. The bright light, the radiance pervading those three spheres. Neither the silence, the stillness, nor the space contracts. It is ever expanding, ever open. All objects embraced, welcome, held. And then a harsh thought or a kind one. all luminous. And you can sense the reality that then the thought is not even the point. We're no longer caught by, identified with. We do not limit ourselves to any thought, any sensation, any storyline. We recognize a thought as a thought. We rest back, create space. Abide the experience, whatever it is. And then we respond. Gentle, friendly, tender, loving. In this awakened heart mind, there is room for it all. The reactivity isn't even a consideration. There is no contractedness, there is no limit, there is no believed thought. Stillness, silence, and spaciousness pervading. And then we smile. From this place, all thoughts, all words, and all actions are an essential contribution to all beings everywhere without exception. Because now there is room for all beings. Feeling the connectedness, the warmth, the spaciousness, the natural embrace. Rest back and remember who you really are. And may all beings be well and all manner of things be well. And may this very practice and all of its merits contribute. So be it. And then you see that the gentleness is just inherent, isn't it? It's just here. The love is just here. There's nothing to force or demand or any other reflections on the practice. I'm gonna practice. We're gonna practice. We're gonna practice doing this. I'm gonna turn this off for a second. Let's see if we can do this. I'm gonna turn this on.
Okay,
Okay.
so now
Now
we're here.
So Let me see if I'm talking. Yeah. Can everybody hear me still now? Just in the, okay. So exciting. All right. So I was feeling very successful. I unmuted because I saw turn of volume on the, and I clicked it. Out of complete and habit. So anybody to say anything? We're going to practice saying it in here because no one can hear us. And yeah, so let's try that. Anybody? I'll pass it around, see if anybody's got anything to say as we do.
Now nobody wants to talk.
Now,
Well-
now all of a sudden, no one's talking. Yeah.
Who's it looking at?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Dan, can you hear Renee now? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was reading something yesterday and I can't remember if it was Ram Dass or Thich Nhat Hanh, however you say his name. But it was talking about the real point was to be right here, right now, where you are. Meet yourself where you are at this moment. And what's behind that? What's behind your action or your suffering? Whatever suffering you have right then, or that you've noticed you have done to yourself, to address that and to see where it's coming from in your life, and then address that. And that was the path to awakening. Because once you reduce your suffering and you see things more clearly, the way things are in general, the world is in general, then you're ready to help others or give of yourself. Yourself is ready now. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Did you see how the practice today and the teaching on the 3 pills
Mhm.
was in fact that?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Namaste. Hello, Zoom. I feel like it's Sangha. Sometimes I have lots to say, like a second grader raising his hand so hard he's jumping out of his chair. But in this moment, I feel just a contentment. And so I'm going to stay with that. But I got to change it from seeing your face to seeing the gallery of faces that they can do something different.
Yeah.
Passing
Yeah,
on the phone.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't figure, I think I have video on there.
Well,
It's odd.
I just saw your face.
Yeah. Let's figure out.
Yeah, I see your face.
You see me?
I
I
see you.
think we have to change it on the phone. There's
Oh.
probably this thing where you have to put on the phone
Oh.
gallery versus speaker view.
Versus speaker
And then you
view.
can-
I have it on gallery
On
currently.
you have it on your computer on gallery, not on the phone.
Got it. Okay, thank you. See, wisdom. Jumping.
I'm not finding it.
We'll take a look. This is why we're practicing
Okay.
for this very reason. We will get that straight. Dennis, anything you want to say? I don't know if I'm gonna find that right now, so I
It
wouldn't
has to be
wait.
on the phone.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait for it. Is there anything else? Do you want to? No.
Just getting rid of stuff that just don't need stuff. Got it.
Yeah.
To be calm as I get rid of stuff.
Getting rid of stuff is a good thing. We're all looking for liberating, freeing ourselves from this consuming habit, right? That's one of them. I have several people talking with me about wanting to reduce that. I'm gonna turn myself back on, sorry. Oh. There it is.
Oh.
Is that you now, Dennis?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, okay.
But I was thinking there's a way to see multiple faces. Maybe I don't use my phone much for Zoom.
I don't think you can do multiple.
Turn this off first. Okay, so one of the things what was said was one, how important to remember, right, this, and to take time, energy, commitment to rest in it. And then from that place, I am certain that the path becomes clearer. Right, because everything's a little slower, a little less crowded, right? A little more spacious. And then a little more present, just a little more here. And then I always notice there's not so much to say, really. There's simply this quality of being. And then I'll ask the question, what is it you couldn't be with from here? So where would the addictive device, it wouldn't be required, would it? There'd be nothing to run from. There'd be nothing to grab. In fact, it would seem slightly amusing and childish, right? Just like, well, you wouldn't need it. There would be nothing to get from here. There would be nothing to reject from this awakened heart mind of bodhicitta, it is called in the Mahayana tradition. And then we would be simply in ease, available, and loving.
The key seems to be able to drop into that on a dana, which is
Or to be in it always, worse, I mean, bigger, not worse, bigger, to be it, to find that place in every moment, which is what Renee is saying. How do I cultivate that every moment? Well, we'd have to set that then, wouldn't we, as the aspiration? Not getting, doing, accomplishing, achieving, speaking, which would take you away from if you didn't already have established this.
Not striving.
That's right. You wouldn't, there would be no striving. Yeah. Doesn't mean you wouldn't go to the why. Would it? It doesn't, you would actually see the way to it so much more easily because there would be so much space in which to manifest that. There wouldn't be, and then I gotta, and then more gotta, and the 5 gottas, right? Which would contract us, cause our distress, would not invite its appearance, would it? We'd squeeze it out, you could say. And so this doesn't mean we don't set goals. I'm not trying to suggest an either or. It doesn't mean we don't measure things. There can be right timing. These things can be of great benefit. But I think we have to be very careful about the heart mind from which it comes. Because then it's just more accruing. Then it's just more stuff in the closet. One more thing, one more, right? And we know it's failure. We know it's failure. We have closets full of them, don't we? We have a mind full of them. And so we don't need to add, right, one more, drink more water. Again, it's not because you don't need to drink more water. It's because really alone it is not sufficient without cultivating these qualities and held within the qualities. I believe it cannot fail. Now it cannot fail. It could not, could it? If you said lovingly every day, I'm going to drink more water, lovingly, you couldn't not drink it. It's the demand, the gotta, the number, the I have a water bottle with how many ounces to drink every hour. It's hidden in the back of a shelf somewhere. I'm going to get it back out and try to see that as an invitation rather than a demand. Because as an invitation, well, slow. Okay. 2 ounces every seems pretty workable. But gotta, which is how I have used that water bottle. Oh, I gotta. Now I gotta drink 5 of those because I haven't been drinking. Right. Not so friendly. Not really so friendly. What is everybody's fear around this? Because it's well established in our Western culture. What is the fear about this?
For me, it's that there are times where I just don't recognize it, and I don't recognize it till after. Like I don't recognize it in the moment. It's wonderful to be able to recognize it, and then for me, sometimes just go, I don't care, still gonna do it.
Yeah.
But for me, the more I don't know which one's more frustrating, the not noticing at all until after the whatever. It's kind of like
After the suffering.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. That the suffering has to happen still. Yeah. From the point of view of these teachings, it says this is not likely the place to begin. It is not likely yet ripe to begin trying to ultimately respond differently to a thing we can't yet see.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That it would be frustrating and difficult and maybe not right timing. But it doesn't mean that there wouldn't be a step to take towards it. And it might be your reflective awareness, right? There it is, reflective awareness, saying, I didn't see it when I was eating it. I didn't see it till I got sick, which was true for me. I was completely numb while I was eating it. I mean, gone, no one home for that. In fact, couldn't have told you how much I ate or till I got sick. And that's the suffering woke me up. But then how could we begin there? That was the way I began it. I went, every time I eat this, I suffer. That was the pinnacle for me. And then I started paying attention. Like every single time I ate it, I suffered. And then I noticed I was actually suffering in it when I wasn't so deadened and numb. And I was actually suffering before it, which is how I got to it to begin with. Mm-hmm. And that suffering was grief. The missing. Like, I want to get that back. I want the comfort. I want the love. I want the security, the felt sense of protection, of someone on my side, of someone there for me when I wasn't there for me. That was the idea, the connection to the caramel corn.
But I feel like what's the difference for me is all along that way of trying to figure that out. And then the realization like, oh, I've done that to myself again. I thought it was past that. Oh, I've done that again. That's where the self-compassion made the difference. Instead of beating myself up for it.
That's right.
I went, oh, well, I'm on the road.
Yeah.
At least.
Knowing it now, knowing this now.
And I'll start again.
Yeah, knowing this now.
That made a big difference.
That's right. That might be the whole response, Renee. That might be the third pill altogether, is recognizing and then even recognizing one's condemning nature or one's harshness. Maybe that's it. And then how can we lovingly even respond to that? Might be where the practice is, not the behavior. It might be the response to the behavior, might be where we begin, which is I will not. Right. And what's the practices? The practices say repeat them anyway. Even if yet in the moment I don't yet feel for myself. You say, can I feel for myself in this moment of difficulty? What can I offer myself here? Could there be a little opening, a longer opening breath, a moment of kindness or gentleness? And I believe the answer is yes. Right? Because I think in the recognition of our harshness, we are already less harsh. So says the neuroscience. Because you are not just hooked and lost in it. In that moment, it is now just an object for inquiry, for investigate. I can see the harshness, which means I am not only lost in it, right? You get this idea? I am not just lost in it. I actually recognize now harshness. This is different. Isn't it different? It's different. We're recognizing it. Now I can hold it. So I'm not just in the story. I'm not just lost in the you're horrible. I'm actually recognizing harshness, which is the beginning of its end.
I'm kind of relating it to that accept and surrender. Like accept is the awareness and surrender is to like go deep and feel it. And then you can go through it. Like
That's right. You are simply just holding it now. And yes, there is a through. We have to be watchful about the striving for that. I remember having a really dramatic panic attack, probably one of the few I've had in a lifetime. My child, a young child, at the time was ill and had what looked like a seizure and had to get a spine. It was really just completely overwhelmed. And I thought he was dying at the moment. It was terrifying. And I was laying there in the practice thinking, oh, I know how to work with this. You just feel this. And I was breathing and feeling and breathing and naming the sensations. I had all the tricks, I was very good at this. And tension and tightness and hotness, and it got worse. And I kept thinking, no, you just stay breathing, space, creating space, naming the sensations, naming the thoughts as thoughts, and it got worse. And now I'm going, this isn't working. This isn't through. What was the problem? The practices were pristine, by the way.
You thought
Even
maybe the
pause.
practices were going to make it get better.
I thought the practices were going to make it go away. I was practicing for it to leave. No, and it will never work. And I'm good. I'm good. I'm a good concentrator. I'm a good labeler. I'm a good breather. Nothing. It will never work. There will be no, let me do this to get out of this experience. It will not work. You will be in it as long as you need to be in it. And finally, I went, well, this isn't going to work. Now I just might as well be with it. This is at 4:30 in the morning, and I fall asleep in about, 5 minutes. I might as well surrender. I just might as well be here because there's no breathing, there's no labeling, there's no noting, there's no compassion, there's no kindness. Bag of tricks. And we can use our practice like this. We have to be careful, don't we all? This is that spiritual bypassing. We will engage in the practice to get out of something. Or what's my other favorite? To get better. I'll be a better meditator. I'll be a better something. The improvement project. This does not work either. This doesn't work either. And so keep those in mind as you are considering your aspiration. This is a spiritual practice. We are not going to be measuring muscle mass in this one, though we could certainly, if it were possible, measure the size and capacity of the heart muscle. That would be good news. But be careful. If you can measure it, check in on what you're measuring and why.
Isn't if you're trying to make it go away for all time, that's fixing.
Yes. Yes.
That's the way it fixes.
It's escapism, it's fixing, it's rescue, right? It's all of the stuff we all have some skill in. We all have our versions of this. And again, it's not with condemnation or criticism. I'm only saying be careful. It won't really work for you in the way that I think we're looking towards the end of suffering. It will not be the end of suffering. We're going to do our daily aspiration prayer now, since we're already a few minutes after 9. Thank you so much for hanging on. Let's see if we can't recultivate. I remember it's always here. We're just going to direct attention towards, and we will be talking about these types of awarenesses, because I was noticing we can get attention mixed up with awareness. And we talked a little bit on Tuesday about conscious awareness versus pervading awareness versus, right? We're going to try to get rid of some of that language and clean it up for just experiencing it. But awareness is always here, always available, never not. And so be watchful of that, which is it's gone, or I can't get it, or I don't have it, or it's never true. And so finding that awakened heart mind and in those qualities that are right here for us. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are free from sorrow and all are awakened. May the merits, the blessings, and the benefits of this practice today, may they grow and flourish and never diminish until all beings are free. So be it. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Wonderful to have all of you here. I look forward to next Saturday. We will be doing a burning bowl ceremony here. We'll have a big bowl, we'll have the fire. Please, I will have cards and things to write on, but if you have that, I'd like for you to be reflecting on it this week. Please bring that as well. Just make sure it's something burnable. And I will have the fly paper so that we can place that near the heart, gather all of these immeasurable, boundless, and infinite aspirations and send them up to the heavens. Okay, I look forward to doing that with you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Hope you're having fun.
Thank you.
We have C's chocolate here. You don't know how much C's chocolate. Sale. There's a sale on C's chocolate at my house. Come on over, get some C's chocolate. I don't know what happened. Got it from everybody. Every week, there will be sugar here because it's leaving my house for your house. So
This whole talk on renunciation and she's gonna.
that's because I'm renouncing that. You not need, you take it. Giving it away. I'm giving it all away. Yeah, that's right. All right, everybody.
you.
Very good to see you.
All
Brendan,
right.
good to see
Bye-bye.
you. Be well, everyone.
Okay.
Be safe
Thank you.
also. Have a good time on New Year's Eve. I think our date will be the 4th. Is that seems not right? Is it the 4th? Because the following Saturday, we will be at Pete's for an all day. So keep in mind the 11th, I'll send out the
Oh, that is the.
yeah. It's the 4th Saturday for our burning bowl, and then the 11th is our mindful all day at Pete's amazing Thunderdome in San Marcos. We're all going to be meeting there. I look forward to seeing you. For part or whole of the day, please join us. I look forward to that. All right, everyone, take care.
Thank you. Have a blessed day. I'm homesick.
You're so welcome. Jim, we hope you can join us for the all day.
Yeah.
I would like to, as a conflict rate.
Okay.
I'm trying.